This is Gregory Clark, Hill Street, Grand Oaks, and this is The Five. Welcome. I am thrilled beyond measure to be allowed to come to you again over these airwaves. Just a small note before we begin. I've made some slight changes to the show since our last episode, but I am hopeful that those little tweaks will not affect your enjoyment of the quiz. One of these tweaks will be the reintroduction of, wait for it, fan mail. I know that I haven't done that in a while. I don't know why I stopped, really. But I felt the urge, for some reason, to acknowledge and reconnect with my loyal supporters. And a hearty thanks to the Department of Broadcasting's Advisory Board for their many helpful suggestions. Here's how we do things. Segment 1 is where I will reveal the answers to last week's quiz. Segment 2 is where I will announce the winner of last week's quiz. Segment 3 is where I will read the promised fan mail. Segment 4 is where I will give the questions for this week's quiz. Segment 5 is where I will sign off, as they used to say. Oh. As you may remember, the category for last week's quiz was classic literature. And the answers are as follows. Question number 1 was on the Danish author Hans Christian Andersen, and the answer is bronze. The Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen, dedicated to Hans Christian Andersen, is composed of bronze. Bronze. Question number 2 is on Shakespeare, and the answer is 2,156. The number of lines in all of Shakespeare's sonnets is 2,156. 14 lines per sonnet times 154 sonnets. 2,156. That's a lot. Question number 3 was on Dante, and the answer is concentric. The geometric term for Dante's version of hell is the first volume of his Divine Comedy, the Inferno, is concentric. Question number 4 was on James Joyce, and the answer is Eumaeus. The antepenultimate episode of James Joyce's Ulysses is Eumaeus. Question number 5 was on Molière, and the answer is the imaginary invalid. The hypochondriac is also acceptable because I'm feeling generous. Segment 2, last week's winner. Among the 213 entries received, there was no contestant who answered every correctly. Too bad. So, the winner is the person with the most correct answers, and that was Wanda Young of Huntsburg, who answered 1 correctly. Congratulations, Wanda. And this week's prize, courtesy of Mirror Vision, a division of Cyberbotics Corporation now owned by Omni Global Corp, is a brand new two-way monitor. You and your subject will have no trouble seeing or being seen with Mirror Vision's deluxe two-way monitor. Segment 3, fan mail. Chosen at random. I haven't had time to edit this. Don't know where the time went. So you keep it clean. This comes from Amanda Densmore in the Flats. Dear Mr. Clark, Gregory, please no need for formality. I have been a devotee of your program since its premiere, those many months ago. I find it a refreshing intellectual stimulant par excellence. We have, parenthetically, had a serendipitous encounter in the past. The gist, my husband and boyfriend and I were attending a student function at the university he was attending. You were the MC cum disc jockey. Your nascent facility, the Trivial, was in full effect even then, as you supplemented the entertainment with riddles and puzzlers that, and thoroughly teased the brains of those present. A thrill it was for me to match wits with the true master. In particular, the item regarding the evening star of Greek mythology. Evening star. Vespers. It's because I'm an aficionado of your program that I write to you now. I was worried, as I am sure so many of your devoted followers are, to hear the news of your alleged encounter with the authorities. I hope that you were not guilty of anything untoward, and if you are reading this on the air, it means that you have, as it were, conducted yourself in a satisfactory manner. Please watch how you behave, Mr. Clark, especially when on the air. It'd be a sad day if we lost that service that you bring to us. I remain one of your staunchest admirers. Amanda Densmore. Thank you, Amanda. I regret that the encounter was not... As for the other encounter, the authorities, I'm not even sure what you mean. But thanks again. Moving on. Segment 4, this week's quiz. After much deliberation, the category for this week's quiz is events of the last decade. These may or may not be chronological. I'm sorry, I have an odd sense of deja vu. And in reference to the tweaks that have been made since our last episode, the questions will be in a multiple choice format. Answers may be submitted to gclark at Omni Global Mail Key. And now, the 5. Question number 1. The popular sport of Roxy Ball is so called because A, it was named after its inventor, Joseph Roxy. B, it made its debut in the now defunct Roxy Theater. Or C, it was originally played with rock-like projectiles. That's not an event of the last decade. Question number 2. What former multimillionaire soccer player now hosts a popular weekly segment from his living room on Stocks and Bonds? A, Fernando Rivera. B, Gunther Reich. Or C, Harry Goldsmith. These seem to be sports-related. Question number 3. The wood from which obsolete musical instrument is now used to create the cudgel for the game of bat-bat? A, the piano. B, the bassoon. Or C, the guitar. Question number 4. Who holds the record for most wins by a Major League water polo coach? A, Fred Barnes. B, Ulysses Longwell. Or C, Meredith Paulson. Question number 5. The canvases used in disc hockey were used in what former pastime? A, tent making. B, sail making. Or C, painting. Oh, segment 5 is the sign-off. And so, this is Gregory Clark signing off. Take care of yourselves. Hesperus.